Hey, Rain City family, Jesse here, and I want to give a special shout out to the thousands of new folks who have started tracking with our services online in just the last few months. It's been really fun to see people who've been connecting with the church from all around the country. And it's really encouraging to hear the stories from around the country of how these messages are helping you to experience God in the everyday. So no matter if you're local or you're tuning in from around the country, if you're looking for community, like I know so many people are during these isolating times, be sure to check out our digital communities in the link below. These digital communities have been total lifesavers for cabin fever. Even though we can't physically be together right now, this is a great opportunity to encourage one another and bring a little hope into a difficult season. So no matter if you're local or far away, everybody is invited to be a part of a digital community. All you have to do is click on the link below and you can get more info and you can sign up there. We also know this has been a really hard season for so many, and if you're someone who's been hit hard by these tough times, we want to help. Just click on the link below and let us know how we can help, whether that's financially or praying for you, let us know. Or if you're one of the fortunate folks who have not been financially affected by the pandemic, please consider financially supporting Rain City Church so that we can keep this content free for the thousands of folks who are just checking out what it means to experience God in the everyday. Your generosity is the engine that keeps this thing moving, so thank you to every single one of you who continue to give sacrificially. Your generosity is literally changing lives locally and around the world. I just want to give you a quick update on in-person gatherings. We do plan to be ready to worship together when things reopen and it's safe to do so. With our regular meeting space, Bellevue High School, being off the table now, we are talking to several different possible locations. And with government restrictions and timelines being an ever-moving target, it makes it difficult to impossible to speculate on an actual timeline when we can return to in-person gatherings. But our hope is that we'll begin meeting once a month when it's a safe option to do so and we have a solidified venue. We'll continue to keep you updated as we have any news and helpful information to share. I know that this is a really difficult time and that a lot of people are really frustrated. And I noticed that a lot of people are taking their frustrations out on leaders, on school administrators and teachers and church leaders and pastors and healthcare workers and frontline people. And just know that we're all in the same boat with you. We don't have access to special information. Like, we're waiting to try to figure this out too. We want to know when we can all go back together. So I would just really encourage you, be kind to these people, be kind to people in leadership right now, because we are all trying to figure this out together. We're glad that you're here, and we hope that this week's content encourages you and brings you closer to the God of love who is always with you.
Holy Spirit, breathe in me, that my thoughts be pure. Holy Spirit, act in me, that my work be yours. Wash over me, make me clean. Spirit, fall, renew this soul. Holy renew this soul.
Hey everybody, today we're going to explore together a classic spiritual practice for mental health that has been used by people who pray and want to grow spiritually for literally centuries. And there's a reason, because it works. This was originally developed by the famous spiritual director Saint Ignatius of Loyola in the year 1548 as part of his publication called Spiritual Exercises. This was a simple set of meditations, prayers, and other mental exercises meant to teach us to discern the voice of God and the movement of God in our everyday lives. It's called the Examen, which simply means examination of consciousness. Now, in a few minutes, we'll get a chance to pray through it together, but I want to give you a little background first. The Examen is a set of self-reflection questions meant to drive us deeper into the daily spiritual data of our lives so that we won't miss out on where God is moving in the everyday movements we make. St. Ignatius was an overseer of Christian missionaries at the time he wrote it, and he developed the Examen specifically to help them recognize the daily movement of God in their lives. He believed that this discernment came out of a growing awareness of how God moves uniquely in every soul. The Examen is really a tool that opens a pathway to a growing awareness of how God's internal movement is present in our external daily life routines. And the questions can help us pay attention to our own mental state, our baggage that we carry, and even the way our physical bodies keep score of our physical and emotional health. Praying through the Examen, praying through the questions of the Examen can help us realize why we might be having trouble sleeping, or figure out why we get headaches at certain times each day, or help us determine why we might be experiencing high anxiety. And it really opens all of us up to both the difficult and the beautiful in our everyday lives, our relationships, our work. And it's also really useful as a personal practice, but also with any group meeting, class, or even a personal conflict you're navigating. It's a really practical way to pursue what the Bible teaches us about finding spiritual discernment and God's wisdom. The Apostle Paul wrote this in his letter to the Colossians. For this reason, since the day we heard about you, we have not stopped praying for you and asking God to fill you with the knowledge of his will, through all spiritual wisdom and understanding. And also, he wrote this in his letter to the Philippians. And this is my prayer, that your love may abound more and more in knowledge and depth of insight, so that you may be able to discern what is best and be pure and blameless until the day of Christ, filled with the fruit of righteousness that comes through Jesus Christ, to the glory and praise of God. Now, I remember when I first started following Jesus, I would try to hear the voice of God and try to figure out when the Spirit was moving. And I didn't really know what people were talking about when they would say things like that. Back then, I would often confuse emotional moments during times of worship through music or emphatic teaching from charismatic speakers as proof of God's actual presence and that the Spirit was moving. I was saying things like, wow, God really showed up in that third song, didn't he, guys? Or things like, wow, the Spirit really moved during announcements this week at the service, didn't he? Which was really an absurd logic because God is always present. And it's really my attention to him that's either present or not. It's my attention that comes and goes, not God's presence or his love or his Spirit. Now, St. Paul and St. Ignatius are teaching us that low moments and emotional highs are meant to capture our imagination, our awareness, and lead us to seek the wisdom and understanding of God's constant love and presence. And when we grow in this way, when we truly examine, we will get to become more fully ourselves in the process, because our true God-given desires can be revealed and then pursued. So, let's take some time now to pray the Examen together. We'll put 3 sets of Examen questions on the screen, and we'll leave space for you to pray or meditate on them personally. I'd encourage you either to write down your thoughts or take a note on your phone and really answer with your first responses. And try to answer these questions at the end of each day this week as a practice. So here we go. Question 1. When did I give and receive the most love today? When did I give and receive the least love? What was the most life-giving part of my day? What was the most life-stealing part of my day? When today did I have the deepest sense of connection with God, with others, and myself? And when did I have the least sense of connection? Take some time to reflect on your responses and consider how they might direct you in the way you experience God during your day. The Christian author Dennis Lin sums up this practice perfectly. The Examen makes us aware of moments that at first we might easily pass by as insignificant, moments that ultimately can give us direction for our lives. And that's our prayer for all of us this week, Rain City. Have a great week.
Mhm.